During this video presentation, we're going through the benefits and provisions of exercise. So we'll start off by going through the benefits and barriers for certain people. So we're going to start off with younger people, so we're saying younger people 18 and under. So a few benefits of exercise for younger people are it's a great opportunity for them to socialise with other people. It strengthens their bones and their heart, their cardiac muscle. It can create a feeling of pride and confidence for them if they do well, and also it increases general strength and muscle mass. However, a few barriers of exercise are they might feel insecure if they're not successful. So if they don't do well in that particular sport, they might not feel like they're doing well and might feel insecure about it. A lot of pressure is created on themselves to do well and achieve. There's quite a high risk of injury due to usually a poor cool down from younger kids. They spend hours training and running about, but don't usually put a lot of time into cooling down and ensuring they recover their body properly. So this creates a high risk of injury. And also younger people can focus too much on winning, so they only focus on winning and not actually just taking part and having fun, and that again kind of creates that feeling of pressure and not enjoyment for them. So a few provisions for younger people. So for younger people, there's so much in society that's set up for them, all sorts of different clubs for all different abilities and ages and genders. But one example I have here is Preston Lawn Tennis Club. So as you can see on the right hand side, they kind of have their coaching schedule for different ages. So coaching is provided for all children of both genders, all different abilities. You don't have to be a member to participate in the sessions. However, they do cost quite a bit of money per term. But I'm sure there'll be other tennis clubs around Brighton or other areas in England that are a bit cheaper. They also run competitive tournaments. So once the juniors have done their training sessions, they can take part in competitions to put what they've learned to the test. And also tennis equipment is provided if needed. So obviously it'd probably be easier if they can bring their own racket, but rackets and all balls will be provided for them to use when they get there. Also, a lot of after-school clubs are provided in all schools. There will be after-school sports clubs, so they should be available for both genders. However, in some cases there might be very few opportunities available for girls, so there might not be a girls football team, for example, or there might not be a girls rugby team, whereas for boys you probably expect to see a boys football team, a boys rugby team. However, this could be said the same for boys netball team. There's usually only a girls netball team, but this is something that we're seeing changing and improving a lot. That kind of gender stereotype in sport in school is changing a lot, and you're seeing girls football becoming a lot bigger now, etc., etc. And also obviously in school, competitive matches will be provided against other schools. So after training and once they've been finished training in school, they can probably have matches during school time or after school. And we're now moving on to elderly people. So some benefits of exercise for elderly people are it helps to enhance joint mobility and balance. It reduces the risk of heart disease. It boosts general mood and self-confidence, and it also helps to improve sleep. However, some barriers are it's a longer recovery time is needed for older people due to the amount of strain that exercise can put on their bodies as they get older, become a lot more fragile. They could possibly put themselves down mentally, so think they're not capable enough. So as they get older and feel a lot weaker, they might not feel like they can participate in sport to a high enough level, whereas it's not their fault, it's just part of getting older. However, obviously general ability does decrease with age, so muscles become a lot weaker due to muscle mass decreasing. Mobility weakens, and also things like reaction time slow down, so their ability to participate in sport does weaken. However, they still can exercise and almost slow down things like muscles becoming weaker by participating in exercise. This process can slow down. And finally, barrier for elderly people is there's a higher risk of injury for them, just due to bones being a lot more brittle, muscles being weaker, and yeah. So a few provisions for elderly people. So if you're sticking in Brighton again, there are a lot of places in Brighton that offer classes for elderly people. These can be classes that anyone can join in, or specific over 50s classes which can be more catered to the older people. So for example, Moor School and Leisure Centre has walking football for only £2.50 per person. Age UK, Brighton Hove, yoga and stretching for only £7 per person. And also Lewes swimming pool, over 50s swimming, from 8 till 11:30 is only £3 per person. So there's not as much available for elderly people in society. However, it is very cheap, and there are kind of adapted versions of certain sports like walking football, which is a lot more beneficial for them and doesn't put as much strain on the body, and it's all easily accessible for them. It's cheap, and it's a great way for them to stay fit. So now moving on to pregnancy. So a few benefits of exercise for pregnant women is it can help to improve their posture, helps them sleep better, helps to improve general energy and mood levels, it promotes muscle tone strength, and also helps with endurance, and it can also help improve your ability to cope with labour. However, a few barriers of participating in sport for pregnant people are the mother might be hesitant to do any exercise, so psychologically they might not want to take part in exercise due to fear of damaging themselves and the baby. There could be a possible change in posture due to exercise being harder, or also doing exercise because of the extra weight. Their posture might be changing when taking part in exercise. Obviously, there's trying to avoid contact sport such as softball, football, basketball, and rugby. So any sport that involves high amounts of contact should be avoided. Blood pressure can increase due to stress increasing on the body, and also they should avoid any exercise that may cause mild abdominal trauma. So what is available for pregnant people? So a way to keep fit while pregnant without causing pain for yourself or the baby is taking part in yoga classes. So for example, Lush Tums in Brighton, they offer a class for pregnant people at a reasonable price of £13 per session. These sessions last duration 75 minutes, which focusing on light exercise to effectively help you become fitter whilst carrying your child. And these classes are open to all women who are pregnant and are available weekly. However, they offer a class package for £6 a week. They offer a class package for 6 weeks for £60, or 3 months for £110. Another way of keeping fit could be swimming classes. These offer a relaxing fitness class where you are weightless, meaning there'll be no pressure or strain on your baby or yourself. Again, these classes are in Brighton for a company called Puddle Ducks. These offer swimming classes for £7.50 a lesson, or a block of 8 lessons for £60. A class happens every Thursday for a duration of 60 minutes. So these are a couple of examples of really good opportunities for pregnant people to participate in low intensity exercise, but it's still it's a great way for them to keep fit, and also at a reasonable price, and it's there for them weekly, so it's great. Obviously they shouldn't be doing too much when pregnant, but if they can do exercise once or twice a week, it's a really good way of them psychologically and physiologically feeling a lot better about themselves, which is really important for them going through pregnancy. So now I'm going to do a comparison of the young people, older people, pregnancy. So comparing what's on offer for them and why this might be. So first we look at cost. So for younger people, cost from my example, it was about £5 a session, or it can be up to like £150 a season. For older people, £2.50 to £7 per session usually. And for pregnant people, an exercise class is around £4. Pregnancy workout class £5.65. Swimming class, pregnancy yoga class £13. So for pregnant women, it varies a bit. And if we look at the comparison, so it's cheapest for older people, and it's most expensive for pregnant people. So now moving on, if we kind of look at why that might be, so for older people, it could be cheaper just depending on the money they have, or just it could encourage them to participate in exercise more if it's cheaper. Whereas for older people, they might need more supervision when exercising, which means it becomes a bit more expensive for them. There could be multiple reasons why, but there are a couple there. So in terms of accessibility, for younger people, can travel themselves to away fixtures, after school clubs, during school. So accessibility for them is there's a lot of ways for them to access. For old people, they'd have to travel themselves, but they have a lot of time, so they have a lot of time to participate in sport. So for pregnant people, the ones I've given examples are located in Brighton. So local transport could be used, like buses or a train, or they might be able to get a lift from their husband or boyfriend. So to compare, older and pregnant people find it a lot harder to travel, and young people need someone to travel with. Usually, depending on their age, they'd need someone to supervise them getting to their sport. And pregnant people also, they might need someone to help them, depending on how pregnant they are. So frequency, so 2 to 3 sessions a week plus a game. So for younger people, they might be looking to exercise 2 to 3 times, 4 times a week in total. Obviously, it can vary because there's so much on offer for them. Depending on what they want to do or what they can afford, they could probably exercise every single day of the week, depending on what sport they take part in. But usually, most clubs maybe have 1 or 2 training sessions a week, and then also have a game or a tournament on the weekend. But frequency for younger people, they could be exercising every single day, the amount that's on offer for them. So for older people, usually 1 to 2 sessions a week during the day, so they don't want to be exercising too much due to the changes physiologically for them. 1 to 2 times a week is ideal for them. And for pregnant people, 1 session a week probably, or 2 if they can, but again, it shouldn't be a very high intensity. So if we look at comparison, younger people are more active, so more sessions are done compared to pregnant and older people, due to the problems it could cause in them if they're doing exercise too frequently. So obviously for younger people, it doesn't put as much strain on their body as long as they're doing the right things. But for older people and pregnant women, exercise can have a lot more of a dramatic effect on the body. So in terms of location, so they will have an access to local classes and activities. So they'll be all over the place at schools, clubs, parks. Older people all have access to local classes and activities, and also pregnant people, they all have access to classes and activities. So in terms of location, it could be usually at leisure centres for older people and pregnant people, and also competition. So there's definitely competition for younger people. So tournaments on the weekend, matches, school fixtures, there's a variety on offer for them. And finally, also for older people,